Look, there's this fancy name here, Advanced Marketing Services. I like advanced stuff. High-end product
Yes.
images, definition based on market and audience research. That's interesting. High-quality graphic design, 3D rendering photos. What's
Mhm.
a 3D rendering photos?
Well, actually, this is we call it the new generation of product images on Amazon, because we know that this is maybe the most important thing on the listing. The buyers, they need like 3-4 seconds, right, to see something that attracts them in your listing and stay there. And
Right.
usually it won't be the title or the bullets, because we actually think that most of them are not reading the texts. They're just looking into the photos. So you need to have, first of all, a great, very, very great first main image. So they will click on your ad. But then once they get inside, you need to keep them as much as possible. And you do that only by photos. So the photos must be not less than brilliant and look very, very attractive. And I call it $1 million photos that you need to look at it and just want to keep on looking at it. And we heard we were like sellers. We are of course sellers. All the partners in RPG Ecom are also sellers. We have our own private labels, individual and in partnership. So we found this technology, a 3D designer that does it, and we started to work with him, and we saw amazing results until we decided to take one designer in full-time job into our agency.
Okay.
And actually, what it's all about is taking two-dimensional photos, which is the regular photos that everybody has on Amazon that graphic designers are doing. And with special technology, special programs, computer programs, they are doing a shift into three-dimensional. And just imagine what was when was the last time you went to a movie theater with, these glasses, 3D glasses that you
Yeah.
see, everything is much live. Well, you have this wow effect, right? So, and this is the exact thing that happens in 3D dimensional when photos. When you look at the photo, you see the product much more in a bulk. It's vivid, it's lively, and if you have like different things that a regular camera will catch up, like dirt, wrinkles, or spots, or different things like that, the 3D technology just eliminates everything. So you see that very clean and nice product.
But no
And
glasses are needed, right? You don't need.
no, no glasses. This was just
How
a
does
metaphor.
I can't imagine. What does it look like? Is it just a shadow under the product? Like what do you have like?
And no, just the product itself is very vivid. I can maybe
Can
show
you
you an
yeah, can
example,
you show me?
a live example. I will just share my screen here. Do you see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Um, let's think about cell. Yeah, cell phone holder. Usually, the sellers in this category, the 3D technology is very good for like gadgets, maybe sometimes accessories. It can be cell phone accessories, it can be computer accessories. They usually like to use this kind of technology. Let me find something which is obviously a 3D. Yeah, maybe this one. First of all, you can see that on the image, yeah, I think it's a 3D. If I make a close up on it, you can see that it's like the black body of the car mount is almost perfect. Like you see no scratches, no nothing, nothing that I think a regular
But wait.
photographer.
So you mean it's not really using the pictures of the product, but just rendering it? Like, but
Yeah,
does
the first of all, we render the product itself.
okay.
Like the product itself here is the car mount, and the designer just makes an angle of it, and after he has it on a back on a white background, then we can take it into the Photoshop and then make, the environmental photo and the Photoshop graphics. But the product itself is not being photographed, which is also, by the way, saves money for the sellers, because in this case you don't need to take photos of your product. The technology just takes the dimensions into the program and makes their magic in the program. We just need to know the dimensions. But yeah, we have different qualities of 3D rendering. This one is, I think, medium, but you still can see that obviously it was not taken by a photographer, and there is some, graphic work here. Let's see the other ones. Yeah, like here also, of course.
So this one is not your work, yeah? Could you try and find some more examples? Like maybe?
Let me see, maybe we have on our website.
Because this one to me very obviously looks like a render,
Yeah, that's why I said the sellers that love to use 3D rendering, they usually do it in products that are 3D. Pretty much obviously we'll see it's a 3D. Let me see, we have here a landing page, actually in Hebrew, so sorry about that. But by the way, there's a cool video we took that shows the work itself of our designer. We gave him a task to do a 3D rendering of our logo. So you can see on a fast track the hard work of 3D rendering. When I say technology and computer programs, that's exactly what I mean by that. You see how hard this work is, and Siri decided to.
So there's 6 minutes of how he's doing the 3D.
The 3D rendering from scratch, which is rendering every single cell in it. You can see also the different programs. It's pretty crazy. And you need every spot to do it. Yes, this is why also this technology is not well recognized yet, because it's let me see if there is some pictures. Yeah, here we put some pictures before and after. So this is, for example, a regular spray that you can see obviously was taken with a photographer.
Okay.
And here it's the 3D rendering, which makes it much more clean and clear. Let me try put it in one shot. You can see mainly the difference in the upper.
Zoom out a little more. I have our face is blocking a little bit of the video. Okay.
Mainly you can see it, the upper part of the spray, that you can see the inside of the bottle, and 3D rendering makes it much more clean and clear. And of course, once you do that, you can also add, of course, shadows and things like that. And here there's another example.
Hold on to the top one. I'm trying to see the benefit, like with my own eye, because both of them pretty similar looking, except that in terms of quality of picture and what pops to my eye, and less shadowy, I guess, and less dirty, and I guess it gives you more crisp look. Is that it? Like, that's why?
Yes, that's why I said, like, gadgets, it's a good example, because the crisp look there makes the kind of the selling, as we call it, because if it looks sexy, you will have some positive thoughts about it immediately, I think. And this is the idea with gadgets, but it's not only gadgets, and of course we can do it with other products. It's not suitable for all the products, indeed, I will say that, but here it's a better example, for example, of how you can correct things that the camera cannot. You see the box has wrinkles, and you can see that the box is very bad quality. And when we rendered the box, look what happens here. Nothing. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
And this is it should also not be too perfect sometimes.
Yeah.
Because then it's not not authentic. But in this case, it really helped us to eliminate the bad things. And of course the product itself, this is a watering mushrooms. You put it in the pot and you
I
just
know
put
this, guys.
water.
Yeah.
It's cool. But by the way, it is our client and this is our work,
Oh,
and she
great.
loves gardening. And this is a handmade product, and she didn't knew that we can do it with in our technology, but was able to do that.
Okay. Okay, this is cool. So that's completely rendered, the one on the left here?
Yes, it's every part of the mushrooms. The mushrooms themselves are rendered in the box, and of course, then we did just the graphic design and the add-ups, the shadows here, and the reflection. Of course, it's not only the 3D rendering; it's just one step, and then we use graphic designer. But slowly but slowly, sellers understand that photos it's what sells, and they look for new ways, new services, new technologies that can boost.
What I would request if I would be the seller selling these water mushrooms, I would just change the box. I would leave the original product mushrooms and the original flower, and I would just change the box, because box now suggests that the product is used, like a used item, but
exactly.
just would change the box, I think.
And this is the small things. This is the small things that maybe will cause you as a buyer just go get into the listing and say, hey, that doesn't look good. And I spoke about these positive emotions. This is exactly what makes the buying, right? It's an impulse, it's an emotion. We see something, we like it, and it's always like this in the shopping mall or online. So we want to make as much as positive feelings for the buyers. And here, just a small one. And the sellers on Amazon are mainly focused on selling and not on the small things. So once they do their 7 to 9 photos and upload, it can take to 6 months to 1 month to 1 year until they decide to maybe upgrade their photos. And it all starts from that. This is the basic. This is the basic for all. And if you don't have this one, it doesn't matter the PPC and the conversion and everything. So this is one of the services that we really just popped up from nowhere.
Okay.
Just from dealing with clients and see what can help them. And we like to bring new technologies and new solutions into our agencies.
So okay, you're saying this is new service that you're providing now. You just started that, right?
Yes.
It's a little bit about, I guess, which category my product would be in, right? Because you said it doesn't apply to all products. Now, how do I know if my product is a suitable one for it? Like, how will I know?
Yeah. Well, we have basically two criteria that if the product is there, it will be more hard to do the 3D rendering. One is if it's a complicated product with a lot of parts, for example. Let's say a bundle of something or a set of something. If you have a set of 5 products, of course, you need to have 5 renders. Or if you have maybe a product that the product itself is built from different parts, from 3 parts. So of course you saw the video, you need to render every part, every inch from the product. So in the visuality, if the product has a lot of features, a lot of angles, a lot of elements on it, it will take more work. I don't say it's impossible, but it just maybe take more time and more money. So it definitely will be suitable for products which don't have a lot of elements. And the second criteria is fabrics, maybe textile, clothes, bags, blankets, things like that, because the fabric itself, it can be really different, right? It can be furry, it can be different fabrics.
Yeah,
and this kind of technology is, as I said, is more suitable for flat and simple textures. And in case we have a blanket, and by the way, I say it from experience because we have right now a blanket that we are trying to render it, and I know how long it takes to do this perfect texture of the fabric. And car seats, for example, we had a client that came with, this car seat cover for dogs, for people that have dogs, that put it on the back seat. So he had a fabric with a knitting with different like diamond shapes of knitting, and you need to have this specific and exact shape and texture, and it was hard for us to do that. So again, this is a great technology, but not for everything, maybe for 90% of the products.
I wonder now, because you said it takes so long and it's so complex to make, because at first when I was comparing the two, those mushrooms there, right? I'm comparing the two and I'm thinking maybe the one on the right was fine. Like, why do you need the rendering? But then I thought, maybe the one on the right, I had to bring it to the photographer or ship it to the photographer, and he had to go and find the plant that I specifically indicated because my buyers are buying these pelargonias or whatever and not some other plants. So it's a setup and it's costs, but does it cost cheaper to do the rendering because you said it's so extensive and difficult?
Yeah, well, the prices are ranging a lot in the different countries and the different agencies and their experience, of course, but usually most of the sellers are doing the same, right? They have the sample ready from the supplier in China. Usually they ask him to send it over to them or directly to a photographer. The photographer sometimes is only a photographer and you need to pay them separately, and then go to a graphic designer and make another job. Or sometimes you have one person who is the photographer and the designer in the same place. But no matter how you turn it over, it's still, you need to pay for both. And photographing, yes, you need to set up and to make it in the studio and the lights and the elements and everything. And it takes time and money. In this case, you just eliminate all the stage of the photograph. You don't even need to send the product. You can send only photos from your cell phone, or maybe direct photos from the supplier. And usually it's better even with a meter to see the dimensions, and that's enough for our designer to do that. And the prices are around $600, $700 for a full set of photos. Like I give you a full set and you just upload it on Amazon. And there is a lot of in-between stages, as I said, the renders, the different angles, or if we need to render also the box, and then we do the graphic designer. And another thing that is unique for our agency is that we also offer a description for the photo, like how do we know what to put on the photos? Like this is not just looking at other competitor and copy, but you do need to do a research and to see which marketing messages you want to put on the photos, which slogans, which infographics. And the sellers are not professional, and sometimes in doing that research, so we offer to do it from experienced sellers. And also, if they sometimes trust the photographer or the designer, they're photographers and designers. They're not Amazon sellers. So sometimes they also are not able to do the perfect research. So we explain them that you can do the photos, you can do the renders, you can put money into it, but if you will not invest in the right research and description of what do you want in each photo, sometimes you are just shooting in your leg even before you started to walk on Amazon. So we do that. We sit down and we analyze competitors, and we see what the good competitors are doing, but we also look at those that are new and are starting very well. Like we see with Keepa and different other tools that we have, how long they're on the market. If they're in the 3 months on the market and they already are doing a great job and selling, I want to see why they're selling good and I'm going to see their photos, and I learn a lot from them. Because sometimes you will agree with me that the best sellers have really sorry for the language, shitty photos, but they don't care. Why? Because they had thousands of reviews. They have the social proof. They have the organic rank. They don't need to invest every 3 months in A/B testing the photos. They have the social proof, and that's it. They're upstairs. So that's not something that we can afford. Not in the beginning when we don't have reviews, and you know how hard it's to bring reviews today. So how can we differentiate ourselves with $1 million photos and with the right messages? So that's why we look at the new ones. So we also offer that with some extra, of course, payment, but it's worth it, because today it's really hard to get into Amazon. So if you are already making these first steps and you are going into Amazon, you need to be ready to invest. Because if you will not invest now, you will pay much more on your mistakes in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not about saving money by doing the rendering. It's not about saving some. It's more about making it more crisp and good looking, clean looking, not used package, right? Yeah.
Yes, usually, and just to make it much more realistic to the eyes of the buyers.
It's interesting that the fake one would look more realistic, you know.
That's the art, by the way. You know, in each 3D render designer, it's not only technology. He should also have, you know, some art in himself, some musa, artistic, you know. And when we were interviewing designers, we were putting a lot of emphasis on this, because they don't need to be robots. We have a lot of robots and bots on Amazon and in China. We don't need. We need the human eye, and this combination of an artistic human eye with a new modern technology. This is what makes the product. And of course, the experienced sellers behind it that, you know, moves all the small pieces as it should be, and the description and everything.
Okay, great. Yeah, I guess my products not always would be suitable, but sometimes they could be. For example, I'm not selling anymore, but I used to sell these little silver bunnies, like ring holders. And when you photograph them, when I tried to photograph them, I would get the reflections of my camera or like my striped, you know, sweater in it, in the silver. From all the sides, something would reflect, you know, either the flash or, so difficult to make this.
This is another thing that 3D rendering solves. Yes, 3D rendering solves that. And also it saves you money, because imagine you need to pay someone, a Photoshopper, to do that. And every time you need to play a ping pong with him, new photos, a new shop editing, and it's a game that takes time and money, and sometimes time is money.
Yeah, and it's like if you put white background around the silver item, it loses the realisticness, like you said. You know, you have to sort of put like a striped black. I looked on YouTube how to make it. You put a patch of black on this side, another patch of black on that. So little bit of black reflects on silver. Oh, so difficult. So, you know, I guess rendering.
We are not professional, yes. And even if we try to give to the professional what they want, it also takes time. It's not always perfect. So these small things, the 3D rendering technology can perfect a little bit, but as you say, it still need to look authentic, and need to be real and realistic, and we try to balance that. Yes.
Yeah, that is interesting. Okay, very cool technology. So in general, because you provide a service also for photography, right? You are helping to improve the images.
Yes, like to the description itself, and the analysis that we do on photos.
So basically, how do other services combine now with the 3D rendering service? When I come to you with my product, so what else can you do for my images?
Well, the first service that we always do when a new buyer is coming in, seller, it's an audit, just a full audit. It's an analysis that we first look at the front page, which is the listing, because this is what also the buyers are seeing. And we start just from the top. It's the top, of course, is the title. So it's looking for the messages and looking for the small things that we know as an agency and some sellers can't see, like a correct structure of the title, what is okay, what is wrong. You know that Amazon is very dynamic, and they've always new terms of service and what is okay and what is not, and it's hard for the sellers to keep up. But we have a person in the agency that this is his job, and he just gathers, is a data analyst, and he just gathers information and keep us updated. So then we go into the bullets, and because of what I said before, that buyers don't have the time or the stimul to look into the, and read everything. So you need to have your most important messages in the top 2 bullets. And sometimes people just don't do that. Of course, then we look at the images, and then we just analyze everything. Just analyze how the structure. It's important what you put on the second photos, or what you put on the 7th photo, or maybe you don't have a 7th photo. Maybe you should have there a video, which we know that Amazon now goes more and more into videos and not photos. And we offer this also, of course, these services. And then we scroll down to the description. If it's a written description, we need to look into the SEO there. But if it's an EBC, A+, then we need, again, like the photos, see the messages there and analyze everything. And one thing which is common with all the sellers is that they're not objective, not at all. Like if you 10 people out of 9 people out of 10 sellers will be sure that their photos are perfect. And this is a common problem, because not always from the beginning the sellers have partners or a community or someone that works with them, or of course workers, and only their eyes are on the photos, so they're just biased, and they don't see it. And sometimes when we come in with all the specialists that look into the listing and the account, we start to make an audit report, and 1, 2, 3 there, and we just see their shocking eyes. Oh, I didn't thought about it. Or the box that you saw with the mushroom. This was an example. This is a buyer that tried for 6 months, seller for 6 months to sell. And when we showed him that, and we said, it can really lower your sales. And she didn't believe us. And after we did, and now we see a frequent increase in the sales, slowly by slowly. But this is the small things that we talked about that are important to buyers. And then, of course, when we finish with the listing, of course, everything that we need to fix, we then in the report offer to the buyers services that can help them improve. And then we go into the audit of the backend, which is the PPC, how everything looks. Oh, I forgot the reviews. The reviews is also very important. What is your average? Sometimes the problem is there. The average of the stars or the reviews, or maybe you have really bad reviews at the top. Amazon shows the more clickable, the helpful ones, the top 10 reviews. Sometimes changing or helping there or getting new reviews in will also increase the sales, because this is also the social proof, which is very important. So going back into the account, we look at the feedbacks, which is also very important. Do you comment on your reviews and feedbacks that you get? Not everybody is doing that.
Like, I'm not doing it. I guess I need to automate.
You're not alone. 90% of the people are not doing it, and they don't do it because they don't understand why they should do that. So in one sentence, I will just tell you that the buyers see that, okay? They see if you respond. So usually if sellers are responding, they will respond to 1 star, right? Saying, contact me, no problem. I will give you a full refund. but then buyers see that and say, okay, they communicate only when things are bad, right? But if you, I have a VA, we all have a VAs, virtual assistant, that this is their job, and every time a new feedback or review comes in, they just give this attention. And something in account, that you come into an account and you see that the seller responds on everything. It's also a brand registry. If you are also a brand, it helps. Something in this message to the buyer says, we are a serious company, we take our buyers seriously, we look at everything, we are responsive, and something gives this trust. So we look also into that. We see the matrices, we see the performance of the customer service behind the scenes, your index. It's not only reports that you and Amazon see, it's something that if you will take care of it, in the end, also the buyer will look at it. And then two last things, we look at the structure of the inventory. Sometimes there is a lot of hacks, white hacks, and new theories that we developed, that if you combine variations, of course you need to have color variations, it need to be common sense, yes, it need to be a variation, but if you combine them and merge them, so not only you will have more reviews, I will say that now more and more Amazon are trying not to connect all the reviews of the variations, but still 80% of what we saw in the categories, if you merge like the mushrooms, that's what we do there. She had every ASIN separately as a listing, standalone listing, and we just combine everything, and all of a sudden she had like triple reviews. And it's also a good strategy, because once the buyer comes in, you can see all the other products that you offer, and you can also buy other things. So this is different strategies that we use in the inventory, and also we use it for new product launches, because when we launch a new variation, we will usually merge it into one parent, because it helps also with the reviews, with the social proof and the exposure to the buyers. And lastly is the PPC, of course, that usually the money leaks are there, and the sellers, it's the Achilles of every seller. And we go into the campaigns and do a full audit and just research everything. We see the many mistakes that people are doing. I will not start to count the mistakes, but because there are a lot. But let's just sum up that a PPC need to be done by a PPC person, or if you want to be the person that does your PPC, you should learn every time, and make yourself better, and new strategies, new courses. And it takes money and time, and not always sellers have that. So there, of course, we also help them optimize the PPC. We started only less than a year. Yes, we are very young Amazon seller agency, and we have already more than 20 different sellers that we run their PPC on a monthly basis. And they stay with us only because we increase their sales, because we have an open contract and they can leave every time. So every month they can leave, and they stay because we combine everything that I just told you in the PPC, because once you have all the basic strong foundations of the listing and the product and everything, it's easy to do PPC, because PPC is just bringing people into the shop. And when everything converts well, so you have lower ecosystems and great conversions, and this holistic view and theory that we have in the agency, that what leads us, and this is the values that we have, not to look on the different parts separately, but to look on everything as a puzzle. And once you take care of all the pieces, you will have a perfect puzzle to show in the museum. And this is what we specialize in.
This sounds great. I love this
Like a
approach.
surgeons that are doing, everything and need the patient to be healthy.
I love how you said it's all the puzzle pieces that make sense. And often I ask experienced sellers, like, what is the thing that makes them, 7, 8 figure seller? Like, why they're 8 figure seller? Do they do some hacks or some tricks or something that nobody knows? They say, no, everybody's hunting the hacks while I'm doing the
Yeah.
fundamentals,
Yeah. First of all, let's say the truth. A lot of the sellers are doing black hacks, and we know that the statistics are that 40% of the global sellers are Chinese, right? We know
Uh-huh.
that, and Chinese are experts, perfect experts at black hacks. They have conferences in Shenzhen that we were in, by the way, that they teach you, just direct teach whole day seminar how to do black hacks. And when you have the money and you have the stocks, and we know that everything comes from China, right? So this is the global manufacturer of everything, and we know also that the factories there and the companies there are opening e-commerce departments, Amazon departments inside their factories. So they don't care about the stocks. They are the manufacturers. So they can play these dirty games because, okay, Amazon will close our listing. It will not hurt like it will hurt me and you as sellers that are third parties. And this is one thing. And the other one is uh, because they have the huge inventories, they are not sending, when they launch a product, they're not sending hundreds of products like the new sellers are doing, because they need to test the market, right? This is what we were taught by the courses. They send containers of products right away, and they start to just give away right away a lot of products, and this is what ranks them in the top. And then they also make, different review hacks and copy different merging. um, the merging that I told you is completely different than the merging that they do. They can take just another product, like for example your product with the bunny, and if there is 300 reviews there, they will just merge it to the new glass that they launched. And they do that until somebody complain. And so we know that it happens. This is one way to make money in 7, 8 figures. Yes, definitely. But we really believe that in order to have and maintain um, a brand for a long time, you need to play by the book, and you need to play by Amazon TOS. And this is the most important thing. And even if it will take a lot of time, at least you will be safe and no risk taking. But also today is just not what was before, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Everybody new, friends and acquaintances that I make ask me what it takes to make 7, 8 figures today. So it all starts with budgets, because you need to have budgets,
Cash
20, 30, 40K dollars for not only the first inventory. This is the one of the biggest mistakes of the sellers. You need to have enough cash flow for the second and for the third restock. Why? Because you launch your product not to sell to free items. You launch a product into increase your sales all the time, and just get bigger. And once you get bigger, the cash flow from Amazon back to you not always be quick enough to uh, to help you order and restock more. And sometimes you don't restock with the same amount. You want to double maybe, or if you need to do it quickly, you need to send it by air, so it's expensive. So this is a very common mistake. That and even if your this is the best case, but the worst case, if your product is not selling good and you still want to stay in the game, so you need to restock with no cash flow back from Amazon,
some.
or yes, because everything went on PPC, right?
Mhm.
It happens all the time. Or if you want to liquidate this product but move on a new product, but just because you want to stay in the game, in the FBA game. So you need, again, to have enough cash for it. So cash is very, very important. This is what the factories in China has and we don't have. This is the example. And also we see in Israel, I don't know if it's global phenomenon, but in Israel we see that those brands, those sellers that survived in the last 3-4 years became much, much bigger and stronger. And it takes over new sellers that comes in. And there is like a small decrease in this bubble, that the gold rush that was 3-4-5 years ago with the courses and everything. Now it's a bit calmed down, and this is an example of strong brands became very stronger, and the competition became really hard. So that's why, if you don't have the cash flow and the pockets before, don't get into the game, because you will lose it probably. And then, of course, the seriousness. The second thing is the seriousness. Again, 3-4 years ago, you remember the online courses promises of working 2 hours on the beach from your laptop and do million of bucks, 7-8
it's always
figures.
on the beach, but in the beach, sun is shining in your eyes. It's
exactly.
like swimming,
Yeah. So okay, this bullshit already doesn't work on sellers, on new sellers, and they know slowly that this is a serious business. But still, you can see pretty big, percentage of sellers that comes into this business and think they can work an hour or two per day. Or the funniest thing, that we are asking incoming, no new leads into our agency, and we ask them how much hours do you have per week to spend on your business, and we say, oh, I'm working like full-time job, but I have like 4 or 5 hours per week. I say 4 or 5 hours per week. You need it per day, maybe, to hold and grow, because it's not only launching your product, it's a lot of job, a lot of work, and you need to have the mindset for it. And this is the biggest second mistake that people are doing. You must have it, a great entrepreneurial mindset with a cash flow. You can make miracles. Yes, but also, of course, make smart decisions. This will be the last third criteria. Smart decisions, it means not working alone. This is first. Here I'm speaking from my bleeding in the beginning, because I was working for 2 years by myself and with my wife, but it doesn't count because we're same person. So it's still the same. And only until I started to work with partners, or if you have strategic partners that bring cash flow, it's even better, because if you have the knowledge, it's priceless for someone who has the money but not the knowledge. So then you can make the combination. That's what also something that we do in the agency. We partner and connect between investors and sellers. But this is for a new talk with you, because I can speak only on this model, because we are really developing something huge here in this area. But these partnerships helps you to make better decisions, and that the brainstorming itself, and it can be business financial decisions, that these are the most important. Everything lays on that. And it also takes out the emotions, the subjectivity, because this was the problem with my products. I was in love into my products, and this is something that happens, I think, to every second seller maybe. We are not objective. It starts with that, and it finishes with the photos that I told you that, hey, why should I change anything? Yes, because you're not objective. And sometimes a fresh mind, fresh couple of eyes that can help you. It's great. And that's why you have all these Facebook, groups and forums and things like that. But it's also good to have maybe 2-3 sellers friends that you're pretty much in the same level, and you meet regularly or speak weekly, and this can really help you. And just learn every time. Learn. It's not ending. It's never will end. I think it's in all kinds of business. You should always learn, but in this one specifically, because we know how dynamic is Amazon, and everything changes there. So if you have these three things, and you have patience, you can do that. And of course, the good decisions and the decision-making process should lay everywhere, but it starts with the products, with a good product. So there's a lot of decisions, that good decisions, and important one that you need to make, but the most crucial are in the beginning. The budgets, the products, the launching strategy, and which help you're taking. Are you doing it all by yourself? There is a lot of people who are doing everything by themselves. I'm also an autodidact, but this is what I was really sure and confident about in the first 2 years. But I just told you how much I bleeded then. So today, the good combination is really to go to the professionals and outsource. We have a saying in the company that do what you do best, outsource the rest. And I'm not a photographer. I'm not a 3D render. I'm not a copywriting. I'm an Amazon seller, and I should sell my products, and that's it. And give professional to do and pay them. Sometimes this is the hard thing to do. Pay them, because it will cost me even more afterwards. So this was my pitch, but it's
great.
Common sense.
You sound like
sense.
you are very experienced in the whole puzzle pieces. Normally all of us are like experts in one thing, and because you run an agency that does a little bit of everything, now you have a whole picture in mind, which is really great.
Yes, but I'm not the person that does everything. This is exactly what's great about our agency, that we also kind of a puzzle. We also took the specialist from each area that is important to selling on Amazon, and combined it into one puzzle and called it RPG Ecom. So we can give solutions in every direction that you will go. You need something about the videos, no problem, I will hook you up. You need something with the photos, we already talked about it. You just want general consulting and an audit, I will do that. And I will not do it from only my eyes, I will do it in each category. I will take the designer to look at your product, and I will take the PPC manager to look at your PPC campaigns, and all together will be combined into one report and plan of action. Yeah.
Okay. So how can people contact you if they're curious? For sure, we heard you talk. Now we are gonna want to contact you somehow. So LinkedIn, you don't use too much, you said? What's the best way?
Yeah, the website is the best, I think, the quickest, rpgecom.com/English, unless you also speak Hebrew, so no problem.
Okay.
And in the future, we will also work on the Russian version. The partners are also in the RPG.com are Russian speakers, so we have a lot of clients and audiences from a lot of countries that have Russian speakers also there. So we can
Говорите по-русски, да?
Да, говорим.
Конечно. Great, this sounds good. So I guess, but it's actually any seller that could be your customer, right? It doesn't matter where they live, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Specify
it doesn't matter. We are living in an online era, so
right.
It's not a problem, really. We have clients from all over the world, and of course, we have more Israelis because we are here. And sometimes when you do business on a higher level, it's important to meet, but we can also meet like we are meeting right now.
Yeah, that's true. All this is online. It's pretty cool. All right. Well, thank you very much, Guy, for coming on my show and telling all the interesting things about it, especially the 3D rendering. I have not even considered that, so I'm gonna think about it.
Give me your product. Let's test it. I will do you a free work on it, and you will see.
But you mentioned that textiles are the worst thing, and most of my products have I sell purses, and they're from textiles, the little fluffy.
Well, purses also can be sometimes, leather or fake leather, and it can be smooth. So maybe we can figure it out. Maybe.
Yeah, I have to look at the list of all my products and see which one. Actually,
no problem.
To think about it, I never even considered.
You have one render a gift from me.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. And also for your listeners, if they will come, discounts, no problem.
Okay, so is there a code that they could use? Could they say shopkeeper as a coupon code?
Yeah, exactly. Just say shopkeeper Paulina and you will get your 20%. No problem.
Cool. See, here you guys. Do
Yes.
it. All right.
Signed.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.